G'day folks, and welcome to another ChronicleChamber.com video. This time we'll be looking at Savage Beauty issue 1, the new series from Moonstone and Mike Bullock. The reason we're looking at this is, as you'll know if you've been following the news on the series, is that this series is going to feature a lot of storylines that Mike would have used if Moonstone's Phantom series had continued past issue 12, I think it was it finished with. So given that it's sort of a spiritual successor to Mike's Phantom series, I thought it would be a good idea to have a look at least the first issue. And if you guys like this video, then maybe we'll have another look at the series once the first arc is wrapped up. Okay, so this first issue is pretty much your standard introduction issue. We're introduced to our two heroes, Lacey and Liv, who unfortunately we aren't given too much information on either of the two women. Which, you know, lets it down a little bit, as I'd like to have known more about the main characters off the bat, but, you know, that's what the next couple of issues are for. So on the first page we see that some sort of thuggery is going on with some evil looking commando types stealing a bunch of goodies from the UN, and it also appears that they're into a bit of slave labour, particularly with children. We see a very suave looking French fellow having some not too nice relations with a young African girl. This is pretty brave kind of storytelling here from Mike Bullock. It's a pretty hard, powerful subject to be tackling, and I can understand why maybe this didn't quite make it into the Phantom. It is pretty controversial stuff. So moving on, we're introduced to the villains. Again, they're not exactly memorable. They're just sort of villains to service a story, which is fair enough. It's an introductory issue. It's not there to lay heaps of continuity groundwork at the moment. But again, it would have been nice to know a little bit more about the villains. But they do make for threatening characters. So continuing with the issue, we can see that Lacey and Liv are reporters. Wildlife photographers and reporters, which is interesting because, you know, we've always seen UN types and do-gooders, for lack of a better term, in African-based comics. So it's nice to see two girls who are seemingly on normal jobs. Of course, things then start to kick off back at the villains' camp with thugs being mysteriously knocked out by a mysterious adversary. Very Phantom-ish. You can see where the Phantom's influence has come in these pages, as the sign of whoever the hero is being left. And of course, as the book continues, we find out that the hero is actually, well, we assume it's actually Lacey and Liv, but maybe that's a curveball that Mike's thrown us. They're personifying the goddess Anea. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. So is it Lacey and Liv, or is it someone else that just happens to look exactly like them? We shall find out. So the issue ends with the group of villainous thugs being, well, basically knocked out. The leader is still conscious. So it's sort of strange because it seems that the two goddesses, or the two people portraying the goddesses, have knocked all the villains senseless, but then just left them there, not really worried about taking to the authorities. We assume that the thugs then bolt because they're scared of these two amazingly beautiful women who just whip their asses, but of course we can't be sure. And the issue closes with Liv and Lacey discussing that they've put a GPS sensor on Zuri. So we get the feeling that they're keeping an eye on these villains, and that's where the issue ends. So it's fairly short. As I said, it's very much an introductory issue. The storytelling in typical Mike Bullock fashion, though, is great. I said that I'd like to would have liked some more information on the characters, and I stand by that. But it's still a very entertaining story. Unfortunately, the art style by Josie Marzoli for me isn't really working for this comic. I don't want to sound too harsh, but at times the style looks rather amateurish. Characters look awkward, poses are awkward. the fight scenes in particular feel very clumsy, and with a title of Savage Beauty, you want an art style that's beautiful. I don't necessarily mean you Frank Cho's, although he would be a good person for this, but someone who can draw smooth, steady, curvaceous lines would be perfect, and I'm just not getting that from this art style. Having said that though, Savage Beauty issue 1 is a good introductory issue. It introduces the characters quickly, although as I said I'd like to know more about them, but that's for future issues. It lays the groundwork. This is obviously set in Africa. It's obviously going to be an action comic about hot chicks in small bikinis righting the wrongs of modern day Africa, and that's great. There should be more comics like that. So it's a good read. If you've enjoyed Mike Bullock's previous stuff, if you enjoyed his Phantom series, I'd recommend checking this out. Whether I'll keep getting it once the price changes up to $3.99 or $8.80 Australian will depend on how much the story evolves in the next couple of issues. But as it stands for issue 1, I would award this issue 3 out of 5. So I hope you enjoyed the review of Savage Beauty issue 1. Please, check out the website, check out the forums, leave your thoughts and comments on the issue if you've read it, or on the review itself and hopefully if I get some more time off uni, then I'll do another one of these videos soon. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Cheers.